Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum
Assalamualaikum
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.
Oke, alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Amma ba'du. Oke, first of all, let's pray and thank you to the Allah Subhanahu wa taala who has given us mercies and blessings so we can gather in this YouTube any troubles and obstacle. And secondly, salawat and salam always to given us to the Prophet Muhammad SAW
Salam.
who has guided us from the darkness era to the brightness era, namely of religion Islam. Okay, I'm the as a host in this event. My name is Fawaz Abdul Ghani, but you can call me it's Ghani. And this is my co-host.
Oke, I'm Gets Tamami. I'm co-host in this event. Oke, Alhamdulillah. Today we have a guest star who is Mr. Deszantara lady. Assalamualaikum, sir.
Uh,
Can you guys hear me?
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, Waalaikumsalam. Good morning, all.
Okay, sir. Mister, can you explain to us uh, about yourself, please?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank you also for Eden Working School, who has already invited me for today's session. So actually, you can just call me Desan. So don't use the word sir, because if you use the word sir in Europe or in America, it sounds very old. So it's just for the old people. And I think that I'm not old enough to be called sir in the session. So just please call me Desan without any abbreviation in the front of my name. So yeah, hi everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. You can just call me Desan. So I don't know where to start, but yeah, I currently work in Indonesia. I work at a tech company, which is called Mekari. If you guys have heard about that name before, the company is a SaaS company, so software as a service company. I am working as an account manager, and prior to my work here in Indonesia, I lived and worked in Germany. I have lived in Germany for about I don't know, maybe 3 years, and I worked there uh, in a multiple jobs actually. So I have worked as a pizza delivery guy. I have worked as that before, and I have also worked in the office. So in the office, I worked at the H&M. So if you guys know that prominent name in the retail industry, so H&M. So that guy who is selling clothes in the malls. And also I've worked at the takeaway.com. So takeaway.com is a food delivery startup. So if you compare that to the Indonesian version, so I think we can compare it to Grab and also Gojek. So yeah, and I studied industrial biotechnology for my master's degree. And previously I have took my bachelor degree here in Indonesia actually at the University of Erlangga. So yeah, so if you guys want to ask me about what are actually the comparisons between studying in Indonesia and also in Germany, so then just feel free to ask in this session. So yeah, I think that's all for me. So just not being too long for the first question, then thank you for the question.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. Dejan, how is your day in the German?
So what do you mean by how was my day?
Day like a cold maybe,
Oh
and
yeah, okay. So did you mean the weather? So yeah, the weather was actually uh quite diverse, I would say. So there are four seasons in Germany. So there are so no, there is summer, winter, autumn, and also fall. So in those each seasons, the temperature are always different. So for example, in the summer, the temperature can reach up to 40 degrees. So it's actually warmer than here in Indonesia during the summer. But the difference is because there are no humidity in Germany. The summer feels like when you are I don't know, maybe minus 15 degrees. So it's pretty cold. So if you are very interested in
Gitu.
weather, how is actually the winter in Germany, so just go to your fridge, just take an ice from the fridge, just hold it and apply the ice in your whole body, on your whole body. So it is how winter feels like in Germany. So it's pretty cold.
Pretty cool. Oh. Uh, and Mr. Dizan, what kind of profession job or do you do
Okay.
your profession?
Okay. Thank you for the questions. Um, Actually, I started working in Germany as a delivery guy for a food startup. So, I started my work there in Germany as a Gojek driver, I will say. And then I worked as a Gojek driver for maybe, I don't know, maybe 6 months, because it's quite challenging for me to find a proper job in Germany when I arrived there. And then after 6 months, I worked as a store assistant store manager at the H&M. So H&M is actually a, a fast moving fashion company. So we also have that in Indonesia. You can find H&M in most of every malls in Jakarta. And after working at the H&M, I worked as a city coordinator at the takeaway.com. So takeaway.com is actually a food delivery startup. So if you want to compare what is actually takeaway.com, you can just compare it to GrabFood or GoFood here in Indonesia. And I work there as a city coordinator for Munich. So every cities in Germany, they have their own coordinator. So the responsibility is actually quite simple. So you just have to make sure you just have to ensure the whole operations, the whole delivery operations, the whole fleet operations in the city runs smoothly. So yeah, I think that's also. Oh yeah, yeah. I just want to add a little more. So um, I actually, I actually was studying. So
Start.
I did my part. I did a part time job there. So it was actually not a full time job, but a part time job.
Partner.
Okay, sir. What about your family? Is your family there?
Go to in Germany,
Germany?
your family.
Okay. This is actually a quite challenging questions to answer because I would say that I was actually alone there. Uh, and if you are going to ask who is actually my family there in Germany, so they are actually Indonesian students. So I left my families. I left the whole of my families here in Indonesia, so I was alone there in Germany. But in Germany, I made friends with some Indonesians, and then we were just like a family. So we have also like a group pengajian there, and then we did
Uh,
some kind of prayers and also pengajian every Saturday by weekly in a month, and then during the fasting season we feast together, we uh, we do some kind of dinner together, and then yeah, there are pretty much my family there in Germany. So in short,
Um,
oh yeah, yeah,
yes.
please continue.
I have some question. Do you have some any suggestion for a student who study and who want to
Oh,
study in the German in there, and give you a suggestion?
Okay. um I think I if you are asking my suggestions about studying abroad, so let's just make this more general first, and then we can specify that into how you can guys study in Germany. So if you are talking about the general terms of studying abroad, I mean I think it's studying everywhere. So you guys have to firstly know what kind of subject you want to study. And afterwards, if you guys have already known what kind of subject you want to study, then you can pick or choose which country or where do you guys would like to study. So in this
Mm,
case, if you want to study maybe for I don't know, maybe engineering, science, mathematics, and technology, I think Germany is a best country you can choose or you can pick.
oh, yeah.
Uh, then you can go to which university you are going to study.
Mm,
Um, there are many different uh, focus subjects in every universities in Germany actually. So for example, if you want to study computer science and then you pick Germany, and for example you are going to the Technical University of Berlin, then you guys can go to the websites, you can check the requirements, what are is actually required to be their students, what do you guys have to prepare, how much score for the IELTS is needed, and then do you maybe does it actually necessary to submit a German certificate score, and how you guys can formulate the motivation letter, what kind of subjects you guys can study. It's actually diverse. So yeah, in short, if you want to start studying abroad, firstly you have to pick the subject. Then you can pick which country you would like to study, or where you guys would like to study, and then you guys can pick which university in that country you can apply, and then yeah, you can just start applying by visiting those websites, just check the requirements, what is actually needed, what is actually necessary, what is actually optional. You guys have to check uh, in the every websites of the university itself. So yeah, I think that's all.
mm,
Okay, Mr. Dejan. I have some question for myself. And in German, there is a language. The language is Germany, and is learning language Germany is it hard or easy for yourself? Maybe for your opinion.
Okay. So I think I would like to firstly clarify that if you guys are interested in studying in Germany, so it is actually not always necessary to have those German skills. So it is actually not necessary. It is not compulsory for some subjects for some universities. So there are actually many study programs which are connected in English. But if you want to go to Germany for your bachelor degree, sadly you have to learn German first, because they have some kind of adjustments. So they consider Indonesian high school degree as not equal to their German high school degree. That's why you guys have to firstly undergo some kind of you know an extra 1 year high school in Germany. And during that during that program, the program is always, I don't know, I think it's always connected in German. That's why you need to learn German first if you want to go to Germany for your bachelor degree. But if you want to go to Germany for your master degree, I think it's not necessary and it's not compulsory to uh, have the German skills upfront. And for me, in my opinion, because I love to learn languages, I think it's not that um, it is challenging. It is indeed
Challenge.
challenging to learn German, but I find it very interesting to learn German.
Oh,
So it's not it's hard, but it's not impossible for me.
oh, yeah, not impossible. But
Yeah,
in the Germany people, is there can speaking English maybe, or there is nothing? Germany people cannot speak English maybe. I don't know.
yeah, of course. So many Germans they can speak English, but if you go to the rural areas, um, the English skills will be um, So actually, those Germans who are living in the rural areas, they are like in English. So if you go to the big cities such as Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, Cologne, maybe most of the people they can speak English. But if you go to the rural areas, I mean to the remote areas, if we say it in Indonesia, if you go to kampung areas, then um, I think they probably cannot speak English. So you have
Oh.
to utilize your German.
Just some like area maybe like in area like in the only Berlin and others, not in the like kampung maybe like
Yeah.
this.
So if you go to the big cities, I mean, if you go to the big names, so for example, Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, Cologne, and etc. Those guys can speak English very well.
Hmm.
I think they are quite fluent in their English, and sometimes you can also meet those British people. Can also find Americans there. You can also find many students, many people who are actually coming from outside Germany. But if you go to the rural areas, so for example, in Indonesia, if we compare what is actually rural areas in Germany, there are many rural areas. So for example, in Indonesia, if you go to, I don't know, maybe to the small part of the Tegal, for example, and then you go
Oh.
talk to the those guys who are selling satay. Then
Hmm.
you can find that those guys are barely speak English. I think they cannot even speak English. So if you say that how much is actually their skill, so I think they can just introduce themselves. They can just introduce themselves. Sorry. So for example, they can just only say what is actually his name or her name, and where is actually his staying or her staying. So that's all. So it depends.
Hmm. Oh. Hmm.
Sir, can you speak Germany for a little maybe? We want to
Learn a little maybe like your name like
like introduce with Germany language.
yes like this.
So I think I would like to ask you guys also. Do you guys also speak German?
Ah,
No, no,
no,
no,
no, no,
no,
no.
no.
I cannot.
Because I think I have heard from one of the teachers in the Eden Body School that you guys also have a German class, right? Or not?
No.
No,
Uh,
I don't know.
maybe
The teacher can speak Germany or no, Mister.
I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, what do you guys want to ask me? So you guys ask me first, and then I can answer in German.
Your name maybe. Hello, my name is Mr.
Yes,
David.
like introduce yourself, sir, with Germany. Uh,
Okay. Okay, vielen Dank für die Frage. Ich bin Desan, ich komme aus Jakarta. Ich wohne jetzt eigentlich in Jakarta und ich arbeite auch jetzt bei Makari. So
Oh.
I think I have answered those sentence before. So that sentence means my name is Desan. I live in Jakarta and I work at Makari. So that's all.
Oh. So amazing. I get some. I hear you can learn you can learn any language. But how many language have you learned? How many?
Uh, I think I have learned three languages. Three international language. No, sorry, four international language, including Arabic. So if you read Quran, then if we consider Quran as a foreign language, then it's four. But actually, it's three. So I've learned English, German, and French. But my French is actually not very good. So I think it's not good at all.
Oh.
Uh, so yeah, I think just consider it as two. But if you ask how many dialects I have learned, um, then we can include Javanese and Sundanese, I think.
um, yeah, yeah, sir. Is from the viewers. I want to ask you
some question.
some can like
Sir, I want to ask, why
why
do
do
you
you
choose
choose
a German
German
for
for
the
study
study
and
and
career? I heard that German has difficult language. What is your motivation?
to learn it maybe?
From Anuma.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for asking. So, actually, it is quite a long story. It's a very long story. So actually, I started love Germany since I was in the, I don't know, high school or junior high school, because I know that they are very advanced in the technology. So there are so many inventions from Germany. So for example, jet engine, our trains, and then our phones, our TV. So so many technologies are invented in Germany.
Oh,
It is maybe not exactly the same technology, but they uh I don't know, maybe they invented some of the basics. So for example, the lights, and if you have heard also that the nuclear technology is also invented by the Germans. So most of our technologies today, they are actually invented by the Germans. Not actually in Germany itself, but maybe the Germans who are actually studying in the US, studying in the UK, studying in the France. Most of our inventions today are invented by the Germans. So not in the Germany, but by the Germans. That's why I started to think that if I study there, maybe I can grow my mindset, grow my how I can think about the world, and I don't know, maybe have some kind of advancement in my way of thinking. But yeah, I agree that German language is not easy to learn. But I think it's nothing is impossible here. If as long as you have the motivations to learn, as long as you have the the purpose, if you have the purpose of your life, and then if you have the purpose of what are you guys actually willing to achieve there, then I think it is very possible to learn something, including including the German language. And for today, if you guys study in Germany, maybe for example for a bachelor degree or master degree, they have a free tuition fee. So that is actually also my motivation. So I am very interested to studying abroad, but with less money.
and I have some maybe a little question maybe. And in German, there is have some traffic jam maybe. Uh,
What do I have? Athletic
is,
what?
is there traffic jam?
Is
Oh,
that
traffic jam.
Yeah, traffic jam.
Okay. Of course. So there are some traffics, uh, but it is not that heavy such as in Indonesia right now. So actually, we also have traffic jams, but I think it's only in the autobahn. So if you know the word autobahn is actually the highway. So of course we have the traffics in the highway, especially during the Christmas session, because
Oh,
so many
only.
people are going to back home. So many people are going back home, and then there are so many cars, even though most of the Germans not using their cars every day, but yeah, there is still a traffic in the cities. There are still a traffic in the rural areas also.
Oh, maybe like some in the Jakarta maybe.
No, not that heavy like us like in Jakarta. I
Oh,
think Jakarta is too crowded because if you also compare the population itself in the Germany, for example, in the big cities in Berlin and Munich, they have 3 million. They have 3 million population, but in Jakarta I think in the small Jakarta area, we have the 10 million population, but in the greater Jakarta area, we have up to 20 million population. So from the population itself, it is very different.
very different.
I am sir. What is the cost of living in German?
Mm, it is actually very different in the each cities. So if you live in I don't know, maybe in the big cities such as Berlin and Munich, and also Frankfurt, then it's very expensive actually. If you are, translating the euros currency to rupiah, then it's very expensive. But if you are
Yes.
getting euros for your salary, if your income is in euros, then I think it's not that expensive. But if you live in those cities, for example, Berlin, Munich, and also Frankfurt, so I think it's around 15 to 20 million rupiahs. But if you live in the rural areas, I think it's around maybe 10 to 15 million rupiahs, all in, including the accommodation, the food you are going to eat, the insurance you have to afford, and then the transportation fee you also have to pay. Then I think it's all. So it's about 10 to 20 million rupiahs per month.
There is a viewer who asks, Assalamualaikum sir. Let me ask you. I hear that study in there free course. That is that true? And if that's true, then
Is
uh,
that only private school or state school in Germany? Thanks.
Okay, thanks for asking. This is actually a very good question. So, yeah, the education in some parts in Germany is actually uh, considered free. So it's actually not free at all, but the tuition fee itself it's very cheap. So if you compare it to Indonesia, so I think it's around 5 million rupiah per semester, so per 6 months. And in Indonesia, if you want to study at the university, you have to pay more than that. For certain subjects and also for certain people, you have to pay more than that because they are considering how much income you have per month, and then how much income do your parents have per month, and then what kind of subjects you are going to study. So it is very diverse here in Indonesia. But in Germany, you just have to pay around 5 million rupiahs per semester per 6 months. But in one of the state in Germany, so Germany is actually a country which has so many states. So it's actually like in the USA, which has so many states. Germany is the same, but in one of the states, which is I don't know, Baden-Württemberg, so where the Frankfurt is, it's actually you have to pay. So you have to pay maybe I don't know, maybe 20 million rupiahs per month. But if you are targeting that you want to study freely with the free money, then you just have to choose universities outside that area. But it is only applied in the state school, so in the state owned universities. But if you are going to study it at the private university, then you have to pay. But and the cost is very expensive, so I think it's around I don't know, maybe 200 million rupiahs per year.
mm, what? And I have some maybe a little question. Maybe the last. In German, there is common transportation like angkot maybe.
uh yeah so we don't have angkots in Germany. uh we are just using buses, and
Oh,
then
wow.
trains, and also trams. So we can use buses, trams, and also trains. Yeah, I think that's all.
Mm,
But for the if you are going to travel short distances, then you can just use your bike.
mm. Yes, do you have some question maybe?
No, no, no.
No. Mm, okay, sir.
I
Maybe
think this the last for us.
uh, maybe that's all for me. I don't have some question again maybe, and yeah, maybe that's it.
Thank
And
you very much, sir.
for
Your experience
giving
give some knowledge.
what's maybe some experience. Yeah, maybe that's all for me. Yeah, maybe Last I say, maybe wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Gani, and also Giats, and also thank you, Indian Boarding School, for inviting me. Have a very good luck for your future. Um, anything or
Amin.
anywhere you guys want to study, then have a good luck. It's actually very good to study anywhere. So it's either in Indonesia or in Germany. If you study very well, then you're going to bring a successful future for yourself. So yeah, I think that's all for me. Thank you for today. Thank you for inviting me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Next, next
See
noise.
you next
Okay,
time.
see you guys. Bye bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Terus udah tutup. Udah. Okay, this is for from us.
From us,
Thank
maybe
you very much for your attention. Sorry if we have some
mistake
mistake.
and others. I'm sorry. I'm very
We are
very
still
sorry.
learning.
Yeah, we just learning and
Yeah.
make some experience. And maybe that's all for me.
Dah, see you next
See you next
time.
time. Wassalamualaikum
Warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh.
wabarakatuh.